So, pretty much from the beginning, Ramonas have been warning that Brexit will be the end of the NHS. And there's a few different reasons why we've got into this. Even the NHS have said, look, we have a serious problem. We can't get all the drugs into this country if we have no deal with the European Union. The response from Matt Hancock was to stockpile some medications, but not to stockpile them in the UK. It doesn't resolve the issue at all. The issue isn't that they exist, it's getting them into the country at the speed and rate that we need them in the country. That's the issue. So stockpiling them out of the UK, yeah. One of the other issues that we've had is that Conservatives have been wanting to sell off the NHS for years, and a long time ago now I did a quick video on a number of different politicians who would personally benefit from selling the NHS. Off the top of my head, I can't remember if Matt Hancock is one of them, but certainly Jeremy Hunt, the former head of the NHS, is one of them. Boris Johnson is one of them. Jacob Rees-Mogg is one of them. So yeah, that was a massive concern, and the concerns that we had with that were kind of laid to rest when Nancy Pelosi, the House of Representatives, and the House of Representatives came out and said, look, we won't sign on a deal with the UK if they do not respect the Good Friday Agreement, because Trump can say whatever the hell he wants. Trump is not the overlord, dictator, lord and master of everything. He's a pathetic little man-child, and he's an incompetent buffoon. He hasn't actually got the brain power to come up with a trade deal. It'll have to go through the House of Representatives. It will have to go through several different lobbies. All of these will favour American standards and everything else. So yeah, when the House of Representatives said, look, if the UK is not going to respect the Good Friday Agreement, we're not going to have a trade deal. So that kind of puts some fears with the NHS to rest, because, okay, we're not going to sell off the NHS to America, it's fine. But Bojo's deal, that repulsive, loathsome human being who's currently in number 10, his new deal doesn't have a border in Ireland. Essentially, it's taken away the backstop, which was a just-in-case kind of scenario, and it's divided the UK. Essentially, it's gotten rid of Northern Ireland. So they haven't gone through it yet, but there's a number of different ways that his bill can go through, his version of it can go through, and it destroys the UK while leaving, relatively speaking, the Good Friday Agreement fairly respected, which is the only time Brexiteer politicians have done anything even close to respecting the border in Ireland and the Good Friday Agreement. Sure as hell wasn't intentional. But by doing this, it does leave way for a trade deal to be set up with the US. I have a lot of bad points about that, but again, it means the NHS is on the chopping block. So, a number of fairly clever people said, right, well, we need to protect the NHS, so let's put it into law and have protections for it. In law, not as a political promise, because as a political promise, a politician can slap you with a wet fish and nothing bad will come of it. But if it's in law, then their hands are tied. They are limited in some way or another. Now, here's the thing. If they cared about the NHS, then absolutely, they'd go for it. Well, fine, yeah, we want the NHS. We like the NHS. We're keeping the NHS. We'll vote for it. That's not what happened. The Tories voted against this bill. In fact, the proposal fell 310 votes to 282. So 310 members of Parliament said, no, we will not protect the NHS. I believe it's 19 Liberal Democrats in Parliament. Every single Liberal Democrat abstained. I've said this a number of times now. I could never vote for Lib Dems because every single opportunity, every single time that it matters, they betray the country. Start of the year when there was a table of no confidence with Theresa May. It's not just about Brexit. It's about everything Theresa May did as Prime Minister. Massive tax redistribution. Cutting funding to education, to the NHS, to the police service. Throughout her entire career, she has done nothing but dedicated money funneled towards the top and cutting public services so that the rest of us suffer, despite the fact that we're all paying more tax while they're paying less. It's about universal credits. And yet the Lib Dems voted to protect her. Now, the Liberal Democrats, by abstaining in this very, very simple question, will you protect the NHS or will you let Conservatives sell it off? The Liberal Democrats stood back and said nothing. No, we have no opinion on this. We don't care. So, back to where we were a few years ago. Brexit is very likely to be the end of the NHS. Was it worth it?